Greetings YouTube, this is Dragonzilla here, coming to you today with another review. But before we begin, I will quickly mention that I have been absent from uploading videos, not only because I have been busy working on the Alisor brothers, but also the news regarding the coronavirus had put me off from working on videos. But now that I have gotten used to the new temporary rules that are requiring us all to stay at home and wash our hands regularly until all this ends, I have decided to do a review on something that I have wanted to make a video on for a long time, and it's on the magical creatures from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which was written by J.K. Rowling in 1998 and adapted into a movie by Warner Brothers in 2002. I have said this on previous occasions, but Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is my favourite out of the 7 stories. I know that it's underrated and living in the shadow of the Philosopher's Stone, Goblet of Fire and the Deathly Hallows, but I love it because 1, it's like a murder mystery story, which I enjoy those. 2, I have a lot of nostalgic memories of it, and 3, because of these 3 magical beasts that appear in the book and movie: Aragog, Fawkes the Phoenix and the Basilisk. There are 3 more creatures such as Dobby the House Elf, the Cornish Pixies and the Mandrake, but I don't really care for those, and it's these 3 guys that I find more fascinating. Now these figures are part of the Noble collection, not sure if that is the name of the series or the company that makes these models, but they really capture the creatures like this and for the most part spot on accurate. But there are still some corrections that I will point out. I'm only going to talk about the creatures and a bit on their bases, and leave out their cases because there's not much to say on those, other than they have pictures of the creatures' environments and the name tags, and I'm not really going to size them up with other figures, but here's a comparison with Godzilla. Oh, and I almost forgot, I'm going to review the creatures in the order that they appeared in. So the first creature is Dumbledore's reliable bird, Fawkes the Phoenix. Not the first one that we see in the story. Fawkes doesn't appear until the 2nd act. I thought I'd better point that out in case anyone gets mad in the comments and says, Dobby was the first creature who we see, not Fawkes. Yes, I'm fully aware of that. I've seen Chamber lots of times. The base shows Fawkes' perch and a bit of Dumbledore's desk, which should be his ashtray, but I'm guessing that would have looked a bit bland, so that's why they chose the desk. Now on to Fawkes himself. This model really captures the characters like this in every detail and makes me believe that they had access to the animatronic to make this spot-on replica. The figure shows Fawkes quietly sat on his perch, observing everything going on around him and listening to his master giving knowledge and looking out for the students and staff of Hogwarts. The Phoenix is often depicted as a fiery red colour, to which naturally this will go for Fawkes as well. However, he has yellow on his chest and face, that I'll talk about shortly. Unlike most Phoenix figures that have their wings out to show the bird's ability to control fire, here Fawkes has his wings folded, and this actually makes a nice change from the usual wings spread out. Also, I didn't mention this in my review on the Safari Limited Phoenix that I did back in 2016, which was 4 years ago, holy crap, but the Phoenix is either depicted as an eagle or a peacock. Fawkes, however, seems to resemble an eagle. Another of his features that I like is the arrangement of feathers on his head, kind of reminds me of a crown, and then we come to the face, and it is here where the figure has an error. Now, when I got this model, I thought that there was something that didn't look right, and when watching the movie and studying the character for this review, I then realised what it was. The beak is black, which is correct, but the face unfortunately is yellow, where it should be a dark earthy grey colour, and this really sticks out, especially when they even do a close-up of the animatronic, so the model is not entirely accurate. However, that's my only complaint with the figure, as it is lovely. But it's not the only figure of Fawkes that I have. Many years ago, back in 2002, I got this miniature Fawkes out of a set that came with the Basilisk, but on its own, it can be any other Phoenix, where this one, on the other hand, is more like it. and you could say that the Fawkes from the Noble collection is the Fawkes figure of my dreams. Next up is the king of the arachnids, Aragog the giant spider, or to be more accurate, Acromantula. I know that there have been myths on giant monster spiders throughout history, but I don't know whether or not the Acromantula is one of J.K. Rowling's creations, like the Dementors, or it's based on an actual mythical creature. So if anyone knows, inform me in the comments. So first we shall remove Aragog from his base, and we can see that it is two pieces, and both have spiders crawling around on them. One piece is a log, which I assume is meant to be Aragog's throne, even though it's supposed to be his lair, but I digress. And underneath we can see the remains of a human, most likely a wizard, since the Dark Forest rarely sees muggles, and judging by the elongated skull, I'm guessing the second pair of bones belong to a horse. Now for Aragog himself, and he is one of the few creatures that doesn't have a smaller stand for support. When the Noble Collection began making figures of the magical creatures, I actually wondered whether or not they would include Aragog in the range, and if so, how were they going to do him? Because he was such a wide creature. Was he going to have his own case that would be larger than the others, or were they going to depict him halfway out of his lair? But what they have done is very clever. They have portrayed him sat on his throne with his legs inward. It might not be accurate to what we see on screen, but it does look like an attack position. So maybe you could say the model shows Aragog hunting, something that he does off screen, or if you prefer the books, off page. Aragog is like a wolf spider in appearance, but with some features of a tarantula mixed in. He has large eyes like a real wolf spider, but they look more angry and intimidating, and the silver dots in his eyes are not pupils, but is meant to be gloss reflecting. However, one of the dots seems to be looking away slightly, so it's kind of a derp-eyed look, but from a distance it's unnoticeable. Despite having the ability to talk, Aragog's fans are always closed and never move. However, on the figure they're wide open, which might actually be a reference to the animatronic that is at the Harry Potter studio tours in London. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but the face seems to be elongated, and the abdomen looks tilted, but if these are errors, they're just minor. The pose, like I said earlier, may not be accurate to what we see on screen, but still another nice figure if you're not afraid of spiders nonetheless. And now onto the final beast of the story, the mighty Basilisk. Only the true heir to Salazar Slytherin can control the beast within the chamber, and fatal death awaits anyone who meets this giant serpent's eye. Spiders flee before it. Of all the magical creatures out of the series, the Basilisk is my favourite monster, and it's the main reason why I love Chamber of Secrets so much. In fact, if you saw my top 10 giant movie monsters video that I did back for Halloween last year, you may recall that I placed the Basilisk at number 5. There's not much to say on the base, other than it has the sword, the diary, and is the floor of the chamber. The main highlight, of course, is the Basilisk, and this figure, in my opinion, is the best model from the Noble Collection magical creature range. I like the striking pose that the Basilisk is in. It kinda puts to mind the scene when Harry fights him on top of the giant stone face, to which I assume is meant to be of Salazar Slytherin himself, even though the figure is looking down, not up. But the idea is there. Despite the figure being hard, it still feels delicate. Well, all the creature figures feel delicate, especially if you press down on the spines and horns on the monster snake, because they feel like they could snap off very easily. Also, I thought I might point this out, just in case we don't get a model of one, but there's another mythical creature called the cockatrice, and apparently that is just as deadly as the Basilisk, and has the same abilities. There is no cockatrice in Harry Potter or Fantastic Beasts as far as I know, but I thought I might mention this just in case we don't get a cockatrice figure from, say, Safari, Papo, or anybody else. What I really love is the head, and as we can see, the fans are just as lethal as they were in the movie and book, so this is no kid's toy, and that tongue looks like it's setting out for the Basilisk's prey. On the model, the eyes seem to be round, and in my opinion, don't look as threatening as they did in the movie. Because this is the creature that petrified a lot of students throughout Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and 50 years earlier killed a girl who as a ghost goes by the name Morning Myrtle. But the eyes on the figure don't matter, because even when holding it from underneath, it still feels like the giant serpent is looking down at you. The figure really does show all the Basilisk in all his glory, and no wonder why Slytherin chose this beast to be the monster of the Chamber of Secrets. Cause his whole purpose was to rid the school of all mudbloods. This giant snake is totally awesome, and definitely a must-have for anyone who not only loves the story, but giant mythical monster reptiles as well. So there we go guys, that was today's look on the Noble Collection's magical creatures from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. If you love the story, like I certainly do, then I would highly recommend picking these up. The 3 other creatures that also appear in the story are in the range as well, so if you want to add those to complete the Chamber collection, then by all means go ahead. I do have some of the other magical creatures, but they won't be the next review, something else will be. However, I do plan to cover the others at some point in the future. Like I said, I do love Chamber, both book and film. And whenever a new movie came out back in the day, a lot of people said that it always beat Chamber. But not me, because I hold the story close to my heart. But what are your thoughts on Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets? And if you like the story, which do you prefer, the book, the movie, or both? Let me know in the comments below. This is Dragonzilla signing out. I hope you all take care during these difficult times, and I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.